emergency.
Today on Rescue 911, daredevil skiers out for fun defy the odds
I knew we had problems.
when an avalanche sends a wall of snow sweeping down on them.
There was a very good possibility that we weren't going to find anybody alive.
Witness a grueling search for survivors.
We begin early on February 19th, 1990. Before leaving for the snowy mountains near East Layton, Utah, 21-year-old Todd Van Buren had told his parents of his plans for the day.
Todd had indicated to me that he and Scott Jaime were going to go snowshoeing, and he would leave his truck as far as they could get it.
You all right, Todd? Still here.
So I knew where he was going. He said he would be home by dark, if not before.
I think this was probably a new challenge for him. Todd had talked about it for a long time. If there was some good hills, they wanted the skis there so they could ski down and tube down.
Scott Jaime and Todd Van Buren were hiking 8,000 feet up the side of a mountain in an isolated area when an avalanche sent a wall of snow sweeping down the mountain toward them. Around 8 o'clock that evening, the Van Burens heard from Scott's girlfriend, Kim Thomas.
Oh, Kim, yeah, have you heard from Scott?
I called Todd's parents and spoke to his mother, and she said they were beginning to get a little worried. I was scared the fact that maybe there was something really wrong.
You stay there. And
Todd has always been very conscientious about where he was going, when he was going to be home. I just had the feeling that, let's go look. We know where he's at. Let's go see if we can find the truck.
As usual, Todd had drawn a map for his parents, so they'd know what part of the mountains he was heading for.
When I drove up this road and wound around and my headlights hit Todd's truck, I knew we had problems.
Search and rescue teams from Davis County were called to the scene, as well as a life flight helicopter. One of the flight paramedics was K.D. Simpson.
Moving people in there by ground would take hours and hours.
And then go back the other way.
It would be very difficult to actually locate the skiers because of the size of the area. There's a large area to get lost in.
Around 10:30, volunteers with the Davis County Search and Rescue ground units began arriving, headed by Bill Jensen.
I can distinctly remember that was one of the coldest nights we've ever had.
Hey guys, how's it going?
We've had several rescues that year, and this one here, with the snow as deep as it was, the cold weather, there was a very good possibility that we weren't going to find anybody alive.
We chose a ridge that was directly above where the truck was parked.
I think we got some tracks again. Where at? Okay, right there along the line there.
We could see what appeared to be a ski trail going right up the ridge of the mountain.
Okay, those tracks are I'm just following them right down there with the light. They're going right into those trees. No, are these just footprints?
We followed them up the mountain, but you couldn't see where they went down.
Scott's girlfriend, Kim Thomas, came to the base camp to wait.
The highway patrolman told us there could be a chance that we might not find him that night. I knew if we did not go out and find him that night, that they might not make it.
We could see a small slide that went through the tracks.
Let's just continue on up here further.
Pilot Craig Cowley flew the helicopter as low as he safely could in the dark.
We were not having any luck picking up tracks. I continued descending down into the canyon so that hopefully we could pick them up going out the other side. I just happened to spot some movement.
Roger, we got two individuals down here, it looks like. They're at the bottom of the canyon. One's waving at us, very little movement, if any, from the second one.
10-4, what kind of landing zone do you
It tore me apart as a father. I love my son very much. And if anything would happen to him, it would be like part of my life was gone.
We were looking for a landing zone, and there was nothing close, nothing at all.
I think we're going to have to go back the other way to find a zone.
I don't see anything.
I don't either.
The hover loading can be a very dangerous situation. If any of us make a mistake, if somebody slips as they're getting out, they could drag us into the mountain, our blades could hit something. It can be a very disastrous consequence.
Back at the base camp, plans were being made to try to get the young men out of the steep canyon, no matter what their injuries.
It didn't seem that we were that far away from the two victims in the beginning, but it ended up taking us about 40 minutes to get to them. We immediately started looking at the one that was injured, which is Scott. And it was obvious that he had a broken leg.
Broke his fever. I'm okay.
They were very hypothermic. They had been wet, and that the clothing had frozen.
Hey, tell me what happened. We were skiing down a slope, and when I came down to Scott after the avalanche had stopped, that's when he said that his leg was broken.
Todd had splinted Scott's leg with a ski pole. Then they began to make their way slowly down the mountain.
I dragged him for about 4 hours like this. By that time, I was totally exhausted. I fell backwards into the water. It felt like it was 20 below zero. We just started cuddling up together from there, trying to conserve each other's body heat. As you look down into the city where we was at, the lights were out there, and we thought, you know, here we are up here freezing, and nobody down there, nowhere up here.
I believe they were to the point where they were beginning to go downhill, so to speak. Scott was scared, and he was truly afraid that he wasn't going to make it out of there. He told us that a couple of times.
Additional rescuers were carefully brought in by helicopter, 3 at a time.
We had some powdered Gatorade, and we began then giving this to Todd and Scott.
Okay, we've got warm fluids.
After 3 or 4 cups, you could see a difference.
Scott had been loaded into a Stokes basket, but the problem was how to get him up out of the canyon to the helicopter. Volunteer Jeff Warsham coordinated the effort.
Each step was really critical. The steepness of the terrain and how slick and wet it was, we knew it was going to be a lot of work getting him out of that area.
Todd had to try to hike up to the helicopter.
After I'd shaken so long, my thighs and my hips were so tired that there were times when I couldn't even lift my own leg. It was like being paralyzed.
The rest of the 15 individuals we had up on the side of the hill started working on carrying Scott across the side of the ridge line.
My wife and I sat there and watched as that helicopter light departed the canyon and started toward the base camp. I kept thinking, who is on that helicopter?
I was frantic. You want to hope that it's your boy that walks off there, and yet you feel guilty if it is. I had really mixed emotions.
An individual stepped off the helicopter, and I could see it was Todd. The first thing he said to me was, "Dad, what took you so long?" And I said, "Honey, it's been a long night, and you're fine now." And that was just probably the most thrilling moment in my life, to have my son back and to know that he was okay.
Reality hit when I saw him. I was glad that he was okay, yet I was hurting inside, not knowing Scott's injuries and that he was still up on that mountain.
He'd been there for a long time, very, very cold, so we didn't know what other damage was done. We were very cautious and moved very slowly as we went up the side of the mountain.
It took rescue workers 2.5 hours to carry Scott the few hundred yards up the hill to the helicopter loading site. At the hospital, he underwent surgery for his broken leg and was released after 5 days.
When I was in the avalanche, on the way down, I thought I was going to die. And I was telling myself, this can't be it. This just can't be my death. I've just got too much to do. I feel like I'm indebted to the rescue workers and everybody who's helped out. The amount of time they spent getting us out of there, I just feel grateful that they were there.
Todd recently became a volunteer with the Davis County Search and Rescue Team.
After seeing the search and rescue handle the situation like they did, I've been on one side of the fence. Now I wanted to get out and help people that were maybe out there in the same situation I was in.
If we did not know the general area where they were at, we could have searched all night and never found them. That's probably, in the order of things, the most important thing they did was to tell someone where they were going.
I'm very grateful for what Todd did for Scott. He saved Scott's life. I just don't think I could ever imagine life without Scott.
I have a lot of love for Todd. I mean, that might sound corny, but what he has done for me is something that words can't explain. I don't know if I'll ever be able to repay Todd. I hope I do someday. I hope I get the opportunity to prove myself that I'm just as good a friend to him as he is to me.
The dangers police officers face every day are not always obvious. As Idaho State Trooper Stephen Hobbs discovered on the night of June 15th, 1991, while patrolling a remote stretch of highway near the Utah border.
They think he saw a car speeding behind him. He got over so this car wouldn't see him.
Down there south of Sweets, you're going over the summit. There's about a mile in there where the road's right between the two mountains. And that radio area down there is not the best. So he didn't check out on the stop. Okay, this is Dee down at the station.
Idaho State Police Dispatcher Dee Silver was nearing the end of her shift.
Now, I just want... Hold on just a minute. I heard somebody screaming over the radio. Did you hear what he said? I knew whatever it was I heard wasn't right.
522 control.
Corporal DeLon Jones was also on patrol that night.
522. Did you copy that?
No, I didn't.
475 control.
He said, "Officer in trouble. I need help." My stomach went through the floor. But I didn't know for sure where he was at.
522, he's south of Sweets. Are screaming for help. I know where his location is.
I'm en route.
I just turned cold. I was the closest police officer to Steve, and I was almost 70 miles away.
Control for all units, all frequencies, clear the air for emergency traffic only.
I kept thinking that maybe he had a drunk or something that was fighting him.
475 control.
The longer it went, the scarier I got.
I can't get Steve back on the...
I started calling the bosses and got them both going that way. And then I called an ambulance. The hardest part was not knowing what kind of trouble was he in.
475 control.
Floyd Zabel and his family were on their way home in 2 cars from a family reunion.
I kind of can see some dust. There's smoke coming up there.
I looked up, and there was smoke billowing up about a mile and a half up ahead. When we got up there, we could see that there was a patrol car on fire.
Look at that. Get around there, Brian. Turn around.
My wife stopped in front of us.
Keep it going.
We really couldn't see inside, but there was nobody standing around. I could hear my son saying, "Dad, it's going to blow up." And then I thought, well, if there's somebody in there, I better get at it. I grabbed him, and he was just soaked with blood all the way down here.
Get him out of here before it blows.
And I asked him what happened, and he said, shot. I found a hole through his arm, and also found a hole through his chest.
Floyd's daughter Sherry tried to comfort the wounded officer.
His eyes were blankly staring, and I thought, he really needs some help. But we were a long ways from any medical facilities of any kind.
I was saying, get somebody in a car, go find the nearest phone. You feel so absolutely responsible. You almost want to say, "You son of a gun, you better not die on me."
You're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. You're going to be okay.
The wounded officer's wife, Jan Hobbs, a Minidoka Sheriff's dispatcher, was monitoring local radio traffic.
I heard a couple of ambulances being sent out. I thought something's wrong somewhere, and that's when I went to search and rescue.
273. It must be Hobbs. What is it? Todd Felder just called me and said that his car is on fire and he's been shot. He's been shot? There's some passerby.
I didn't want to believe it.
My officer's heading out there now. Do we have a condition on it? We don't.
All I could think of is that I needed him to stay alive for me and the kids.
When we continue,
There was no sign of any help coming, and I just thought, I'm going to sit here and watch this person die.
When Idaho State Trooper Stephen Hobbs was shot during a routine traffic stop in a remote area, his life was in the hands of the passing motorists who stopped to help. But there was little hope that they'd be able to keep him alive long enough to get him the medical care he desperately needed.
Everybody was doing whatever they could. Sherry was trying to cradle his head a little bit, make it more comfortable.
His lips started to go blue, and it wasn't too long after that his breathing stopped entirely. I just thought to myself, you know, okay, here we go. I'm going to try to remember how to do this.
Come on, come on, come on, you can make it, boy. Come on.
She would give him a breath of air. Then I could see him breathing. And then it would quit. So then she would do it again.
I was really getting worried because there was no sign of any help coming, and I just thought, I'm going to sit here and watch this person die.
Off-duty EMT John Cook and his brother happened to be driving by on their way home from vacation.
You could see the flames shooting up pretty high. I really didn't know what I was coming up on. I had my trauma kit in the back. I figured I better find out what's going on.
I looked up, and here come a guy running across the street with a black bag. And that was really a relief. I thought, man, we got some help. Somebody that knows something, you know.
He's been
Shot. Where's he been shot at?
We got a bullet hole right here.
He was hurting very badly, and he was in a very deep state of shock because his brain wasn't receiving enough oxygen. He was getting very combative.
It's all right. It's all right. Where are we going?
Come on, Bill, get some stuff open. Then I had my brother Bill putting some gauze on each hole that he could see and putting pressure on it. Did anybody ask for help? I didn't know if help was coming. I did grab his police radio and tried to use it several times.
Response, is anybody there? Is anybody there?
And didn't find one channel that worked.
You guys, I just can't get anybody.
I knew what I was lacking, and that was advanced life support. So my only other option was to move him to the nearest
I
town.
don't think we're going to have any help.
Here comes an RV. Flag him down.
Gerald Jepson and his wife were driving by pulling a trailer.
I'm not the type that usually stops to get involved with anything, but when they came running towards the truck, after seeing the look on their face, I knew that we had to do it.
All right, hold on. Okay. Come on, let's go.
6 of us picked up the trooper and took him in.
I got it. Let's go.
They was moving him pretty fast. He was just white and lifeless. It scared me pretty bad, but he was pretty close to dead right then.
Here, let's go.
Then somebody says, drive as fast as this thing will go to Snowville.
You guys? All of a sudden, he started saying, I just want to die. I just want to die. And at that point, I started getting very scared and very nervous because when people give up, it's only a matter of time.
You can't die on it.
Everybody was saying, don't give up now. Think of your children and your wife. It was like a cheering section. Just really in there with their whole body and soul.
A state trooper picked up Jan Hobbs to take her to her husband.
I was scared to death. I wanted to be able to tell him that I loved him before he might never hear me say that again.
There were no medical facilities in Snowville. Rescuers worked for 45 minutes trying to keep Trooper Steve Hobbs going long enough for an air ambulance to get to the scene.
We stood there by the door hoping to hear some good news, and finally they said, well, we got his blood pressure back, we got a pulse back.
That was the biggest relief of my life. And he was still alive.
Steve was airlifted to the trauma unit of McKay Hospital. By the time he arrived, more than 2 hours had passed since the shooting. His wife arrived soon after.
When I saw him, he was white, like a dolphin white color. I told him that I loved him, and I just wanted him to hang in there for me and the kids.
We're going to need to go.
The emergency physician Ivan Wright examined Steve's x-rays to determine the extent of the damage done by the bullets.
X-rays. This is the initial x-ray that we took. He had injury to both lungs, and he had a significant injury to the artery in his arm. This is dye in the artery going into his arm, and as you see, it comes down to here and stops. That's where he's bleeding from. The axillary artery was almost totally severed. To be honest, I'm quite amazed that he survived.
A year has passed. For Steve Hobbs and his family, the healing continues. Doctors were able to partially repair severed nerves in his right arm, but he has only limited use of that hand. Due to lack of oxygen, Steve also suffered some short-term memory impairment, as well as permanent loss of 50% of his vision.
There are times when I just feel like I'm going to explode inside because I can't do the things that I used to be able to do. And it's very hard. And my daughter always tells me, chill out. So there's a lot of times where I just have to go off by myself and sit down and try and collect myself again. So there's been quite a few changes I've had to try and make with my life.
Since he's been shot, it's been kind of a role reversal. He's used to being the provider, and now he's home with the kids. But we've all learned how to deal with it. Steve means everything to me. He is my other half.
How's it going? Okay.
I just will never be able to repay the people who took the time to rescue Steve. I never knew there were so many people that cared.
The first time I met Steve, after all this happened, and there was no feeling ever like it before. Knowing that I did something for this guy that would keep him around.
The man Steve pulled over that night had been driving a stolen car. He pleaded guilty to 3 felonies and was sentenced to 40 years in prison. The incident has affected all the people who got involved that night.
This changed me quite a bit. I haven't had a low opinion of policemen, but I stay away from them. But this has really made me realize what they go through. We see a cop car and we automatically let off the gas and hope we get by them. And we don't realize the dangers they're living under to try to protect us.
I guess the best reward that we ever had was the party for him at the Twin Falls when they put us with 4 of their little boys. These little kids, they were happy and smiling. And of course I couldn't help remembering when I was their age. I was on the scene when my dad had an accident and he died. So I was raised without one and they had theirs.
Don't fall down.
And to me, that's all that counted.